Yeah. Apply pressure from every angle, you feel me? Yeah, you know. Attack move. Never fold, man. Nah, never fold, never quit, yeah. Keep going, like, yeah.
Now they gotta feel me, yeah. Now they gotta feel me, yeah. Now they finna feel me. I try to keep it cool, but niggas always act a fool. So now they gotta feel me, yeah. Now they gotta feel me, yeah. Now they finna feel me. I try to keep it cool, but niggas always act a fool. So now they gotta,
yeah, I smoke that dang. Tryna get M's in the bank, fuck what they think. Knock a nigga whole mouth out. Come side me, top break, throw hands like Tank. Knock it out the park like Hank. I've been doing them planks, what you got on my drink? I've been trying to keep my sane. Humanity so lame, fuck you and your gang. Speaking on the dead man's name.
Roll Tide full of pride, roll tide. Here we go, baby. Roll Tide full of pride. Here we go again. You already know what it is. Down at the levee, we going fishing at the levee. Roll Tide. You know it? Yeah, baby. You know it, baby. You know it, baby. We here, man. We here. A-Day. When is A-Day? The 11th? Saturday? It's going down in the boogie downtown. A-Day, baby. A-Day. We know Bama football. That's the big talk of the town. Players are excited about A-Day being back, the A-Day scrimmage and all that. Players really get to show their talent, show off their talents, put their skills on display. You know, show the work they've been putting in, show it, make it pay off. Then, of course, the fans get a beautiful, spectacular show. You understand? So, but at the end of the day, we know what A-Day is about. Who will step up and show out? I understand this is just the beginning, spring ball and all that, but this is where players can make a real separation, right? Boom. They can make a real separation, the A-Day game. All eyes on Bama for real. Matter of fact, if you know, let me know. Will this A-Day game be on SEC Network? Will it be televised? Will it be on YouTube somewhere? Let me know if you got the 411 and the inside scoop. You hear me? Heavy. Also, let me know if you will be attending A-Day as well. You understand? But yeah, a lot to prove for a lot of players, baby. No cap. A few things to talk about today. Of course, you know, the tune-up practice before the A-Day game. The tune-up practice before the A-Day game and all that. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, baby. Give me 1 second. One second. All right, here we go. Boom. So we know the tune-up practice before the A-Day game. You know, how are players feeling? Are players feeling excited? Which player are you looking forward to seeing the most? You know, which competition are you excited about? Matter of fact, let me get these polls up, man. Here we go. You understand? You understand? Real talk, man. As you see the poll below, you understand? Let me know, bro. Who will dominate in the A-Day scrimmage? Will it be the defense or the offense? Make sure you let me know in the chat, bro. Here we go. But yeah, a few things to get into today. Not a super long live. Just want to come in and talk about my football. We know what's going down Saturday, baby. The A-Day game, the A-Day game. You understand? You know what will we see from Austin Mack, Keelan Russell? They had some struggles in the last practice, I believe. But it's about how you bounce back. Of course, mistakes will happen. You know, errors will be made. That's part of it. That's part of the program, part of the process. And if you want a lot of mistakes to happen, you would want them to happen right now, spring ball and all that. We know spring ball is just the beginning, but spring ball matters. So how do the quarterbacks bounce back? How will they look in the A-Day game as well? You understand? And let me know after this spring camp, who do you think is leading the competition, Austin Mack or Russell? Once again, you see the poll in on the screen. Who will dominate in the A-Day scrimmage, the defense or the offense? Let me know in the chat, bro. You hear me early. You come in the chat, like it up. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Support the grind, support the channel as well. Roll Tide, full of pride, win, lose, or draw, but we come to win for sure. Roll Tide, ain't nothing rolling but the damn tide. Here we go. You understand? You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. All when it's boring as hell. Basketball here, basketball there. You understand? But ain't nothing like that football, that real gridiron football. So it feels good to what? See players put the pads on, see some hitting, some popping, and all that. You understand? College football back in true form. Period, man. Roll Tide, full of pride. Roll Tide. Here we go. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Let's get it, man. Let's get it, baby. Here we go. Here we go, baby. What we got? What we got? What we got? What we got? Give me 1 second. So I guess Kalen DeBoer will speak in 2026 SEC Media Day schedule released. Kalen DeBoer to speak July 22nd. 1 second, man. I want to talk about Adrian Clem a little bit right quick. Adrian Clem, definitely a big hire for Bama. True, true. It was time for a change. Coach Kapalovic, Coach Cap is what they call him. He is at Auburn now. But Adrian Clem probably was the perfect choice for Alabama at the end of the day for sure. Here we go. 1 second. You understand? We go. We go. But yeah, Adrian Clemens, we know a real good hire for Bama, in my opinion. Making changes already, teaching players new techniques already. Michael Carroll has spoke about him highly. So at the end of the day, Adrian Clem will have this O line playing very well, in my opinion. We know that's the biggest question going into the season, of course, right? How will this offensive line look? Will we get the run game going? Will we get back to playing murder ball, right? Boom. That's what you want to see if you're a Bama fan. What? Murder ball. Bama has to run that damn ball, baby. Period. Here we go. You understand? you know. But let's just talk about what he's brought to the table so far. You know, New O-line coach Adrian Clem brings a lot of energy to Alabama, and that's very important, bro. That's very important, right? Energy, the energy he brings to his O-line in general, of course, making them play physical, aggressive, fast, powerful, etc. Here we go. Alabama's offensive linemen have now had double digit practices with new position coach Adrian Clem. And the early reviews this spring have all been positive. He's been doing great, said Alabama offensive tackle Jackson Lloyd. He comes in, he brings a lot of energy on the field, coaches us really hard, explains everything really well, like what we're doing, why we're doing it. And then off the field, he's super easy to talk to. And then when you're up in his office one on one, easy to talk to, and then you get feedback really well. And that's very important. Like I always say, coach player relationships. What can a coach bring out of a player? Can he make the players believe in him, have confidence in him, that he will put them in the best position to win? And it seems like Adrian Clem is doing just that. Every player you've heard speak has spoken highly about him. Talk about the level of respect, what he brings to the table, them learning new things, new techniques under his helm, So, hey, bruh, great hire, Adrian Clem. Shout out Adrian Clem. And we know Adrian Clem is a ex NFL player, former NFL player. He's been on Super Bowl winning teams, so he knows how to compete. He knows what it takes to be great. He's been great before, Holmes, heavy. So he understands how to identify certain players and bring the best out of certain players as well. We go, roll tide. So I think it's a really good connection we have. Crimson Tide head coach Kalen DeBoer officially hired Clem in early February, one of three new assistant coaches at Alabama. Clem is tasked with turning around an offensive line group that didn't meet expectations last season. Which is why a change in leadership was made. UA struggled running the ball in 25, ranking 125th out of 136 FBS teams. In rushing offense, 104.13 YPG. The Tide also gave up 32 sacks, piss poor, here we go, which ranked 13th in the SEC. That was up from only 24 sacks in 2024, but in two fewer games. Alabama will have 4 new starters along the offensive line and brought in 11 new players, including 7 transfers this offseason. Here we go. Dell in the building. My dog Dell in the building. What up, Holmes? Roll Tide. He say new offensive line coach, Adrian Clem. Adrian Clem. Indicating offensive line has been a problem. Oh yeah, last year the O line was definitely a problem, man. No run game, no damn run game. Here we go. Delph in the building, DL left in the building. What up, Holmes? Roll Tide. Here we go. One, I think because our defense backs are playmakers. Oh, real talk, real talk. Once again, you see the poll on the screen. Man. Who will dominate in the A-Day game scrimmage, the defense or the offense? Holmes, once again, let me know how you feel. Let me know how you feel for real, dog. No cap. DLF in the building says, one, I think because our defensive backs are playmakers. Real talk, DLF. I think this secondary will be the best secondary in the nation. I repeat, this secondary will be the best secondary in the damn nation, baby. No cap, roll tide. Great shout out right there. DLF in the building once again, dog. Got experience in the secondary, young players, older players, whatever you want to call them. Players who gained a lot of experience from last year. Zabian Brown, Dejon Lee, just to name a couple. Keon Sabb, Bray Hubbard. You got the young boys, freshmen coming in, Jaray Edwards, you understand? McDonald, you understand? Heavy. So I'm right there with you, DLF. I feel very good, real good about this secondary room, period. Here we go. Let's dive back into Clem. Let's dive back in about Coach Clem. Here we go. Heavy, man. Here we go. Roll Tide. You understand? But yeah, this secondary, this defense, I feel will be very elite, baby. No cap. Let's get it. Where we at here? Where we at here? Here we go. Clem will look to get the big fellas up front back on track in his first year in Tuscaloosa. To do that, the new assistant has focused on the clear weakness of the previous position unit. Obviously, a point of emphasis right now is getting more movement in the run game. Exactly. Move bodies, move bodies. Lloyd said, I feel like that's something we got to all come together, and we've been coming together and just keep getting better at that. Obviously, technique is a big part of it, but then just your mentality coming off the ball. So those two things, yeah, mentality, baby, physicality, aggression. I repeat, aggression, the want to. Players gotta want to knock another player in the mouth, right? Move a motherfucker off the ball. Period. It's mentality, dog. Aggression, anger, pain, all that. Heavy. Who wants it more? Who wants the out physical? Who? You hear me? No cap, dog. And guess what? It was a certain point in time when it was no course, then Bama was the more physical team. To the extent where people didn't even want to play Bama. We need to get back to that motherfucking murder ball. Roll Tide, bro. Here we go. The hell you talking about? Here we go, man. Roll Tide. The hell going on around here? This is a standard for Bama. You understand? The offensive line ain't never been sweet, never been soft. That ain't Bama's repertoire. Huh? It's Roll Tide business, man. Handle that Ben Naive for sure. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, man. Let's get it. Clem, Clem is back in a familiar role after spending the 2025 season as a defensive analyst at USC. The offensive line coach has served stints at UCLA and Oregon, as well as in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers and New England Patriots. His experience at the professional level is clear, according to Michael Carroll, the lone returning starter from Alabama's 25 O line. And we already know Michael Carroll, high expectations. We expect big things from him. He was only a freshman last year, got a lot of reps, a lot of tick. Now he must elevate his game and take it to the next level for sure. Here we go. It kind of feels like the pros, like what the pros will be like, Carroll said. I really like his style of coaching, just like the way he kind of slows down and teaches everything step by step and explains to you how and why to do different techniques and stuff like that. For sure, real honesty, real pure. Certain situations, shit, certain techniques you may use at every different level of the game. Ain't no cap. You hear me early. It's times you need to be more aggressive with your hands, more aggressive with your feet work. You understand? More stable in your stance. Period. So Coach Clem brings all that to the table, and he brings the experience of playing in the NFL before. Let's get it, bro. DeBoer has praised the mindset Clem brought to Alabama, which is important at any position, but particularly the offensive line. Outside of execution, attitude, and communication are some of the most critical aspects up front. And the new coach seems to excel in both areas. I think Clem is an elite communicator at his drill work and does a really good job of transitioning drill work to skill. Uh huh. Here we go, baby. Let's get it. Said Alabama offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. And Ryan Grubb will have to step up as well. We can't forget about Ryan Grubb and his piss poor play calling at times. We can take it all the way back to the Indiana game. Boom. We can take it all the way back to the Georgia game as well. So it is what it is, bro. Everybody has to step up for sure. That's what really stood out to me when I was talking to him was just his elite knowledge of being able to take drill to skill and put it on the field and then quick adjustments on the fly. Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah. That's what it's about for sure. Here we go, man. So that's the first segment about Adrian Clem. Let me know how you feel about Adrian Clem as well. Here we go. You understand? Here we go. 1 second. Let's get it. Let's get it. We gonna get it. We gonna get it for sure. 1 second, man. Let's see what we got here, man. Now, Alabama players, I'm excited about the return of scrimmage format for A Day. Let's check it out. I definitely have my different thoughts about the whole A Day game. If you watch previous videos, you know I was the first one to say, "Hey, I could give a damn about that A Day game for real." To me, the biggest priority is keeping the players healthy. Give a damn about providing for the fans or pleasing the fans. But I get it. I understand it, certainly. But the fact that the players are excited about the A-Day scrimmage coming back is definitely great news. So it should be an exciting day, bro. An exciting scrimmage for real, you know? But what that tells me is them boys is ready to play football, no doubt. They're itching to get out there. They're itching to put on a real show, baby. Here we go. No cap. Roll tide. Ain't nothing rolling but the damn tide. Oh, yeah. Alabama players excited about the return of scrimmage format for A Day. Here we go. A Day is going to look different this year for Alabama compared to what it was a year ago. After going away from the scrimmage format and making the annual spring game and open practice in 25, the Crimson Tide is reversing course this Saturday. A Day will once again be a scrimmage for the first time since head coach Kalen DeBoer's first spring in 2024. We'll talk about it. I mean, there's little football dings that we have, DeBoer said after Alabama's closed scrimmage last Friday. Today, we scrimmaged the whole time, moved the ball in the field, tackling. It would be an offense. It would be an offense versus defense thing. I guess that's probably the first starting point. I don't like splitting up teams. I want guys working with guys and taking advantage of every practice we can. Last week, we did a little bit of thud and then scrimmage, probably 80% of it. So we'll just kind of see as we get in through the week, see where we're at. But that's what most of it will be. So just be a lot of scrimmage, and we'll do what we probably did today. So basically, a longer version of a scrimmage, of course, you know. But a lot of players will get the chance to show their skills, put their skills on display for real. Here we go. It will be the first time the 2026 version of Alabama football gets to take the field at Bryant Denny Stadium in front of fans, giving them their first look at this upcoming season's team. For many Alabama players, it's a return to the format they knew to begin their college careers. It's very exciting, junior defensive back Red Morgan said. We don't get too many scrimmages. Going out there and being able to showcase in front of everybody, in front of the fans, what we can do, that's exciting. There are other players on this roster, such as redshirt freshman offensive lineman Jackson Lloyd, that have never been a part of a scrimmage in front of fans like A-Day. His first spring in the program was last season's A-Day practice, but he's most looking forward to just being back in his home stadium. It's always great to be in Bryant Denny, Lloyd said. I'm looking forward to getting back out there, get some fans to fill the stadium. It's going to be a fun time. I'm excited for. Great news, bro. Great news. And which they should be, you know. They should be very excited for sure. It's always great to be in Bryant Denny, Lloyd said. I'm looking forward to getting back out there. Got some fans to fill the stadium. Already read that part. A-Day will be the 13th of 15 scheduled practices for Alabama during the spring. The 2-hour scrimmage is set for a 1 p.m. start time at Saban Field at Bryant Denny Stadium and will be free of charge for fans to attend. And once again, bro, let me know if you're going to the A game for sure. You understand? Let me know if you are going to the. Oh hell nah. Let me know if you are going to the A-Day game for sure, bro. No cap. You know? But the A-Day scrimmage, like I say, should be a very exciting one. You know, I ain't even gonna sit here and cap about it and all that. Hold on, man. What's going on here, man? Hold up, man. Hold up, bro. One second, man. And line, let me get that. Yeah. Hold on. I want to keep it real. Living life, little one second, man. Check out some practice clip as well, you know. Now, Kalen DeBoer, guess he did speak on ESPN, right, and all that about Austin Mack and the Keelan Russell battle, his thoughts, etc. I will be diving into that as well. Get to that a little later for sure. Once again, if you come in the chat, like it up, right? Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell as well. Why not? Takes less than 1 second, bro. Support the grind, support the channel. Here we go. Here we go, baby, for sure. 1 second. Now we know as far as the quarterback competition goes, what's going down, what isn't going down. You know, we understand that both of the quarterbacks struggled a little bit in the last practice, but like I always say, that spring ball, part of the process, part of the program, man. Let's calm it way down. You know, mistakes happen, errors get committed, turnovers, interceptions, all that. It always won't look perfect. It always won't look spectacular. You understand? So I'm not concerned at all that the QB struggle. The question is, how do they bounce back? How do they look majority of the time and all that? Right? Boom. So here we go. Let's dive right into it. You understand? How Alabama QBs responded after struggles in second spring practice, scrimmage, I mean. Here we go. Alabama quarterbacks Austin Mack and Keelan Russell didn't have their sharpest days of the spring this past weekend in the Crimson Tide's second scrimmage at Bryant Denny Stadium. That's how Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer described it, and sources told Bama Online that Mack and Russell both threw interceptions during the 100-plus scrimmage that was closed to the public. But how did Mack and Russell respond during Tuesday spring practice? It's two guys that have high ceilings, and they've done a really good job for the most part all spring long. The board told the next round. 1 second. Slide through edge. Right round. Hold on. Boom, boom. 1 second. Hold on. What is that? Living life through it, yeah. Woo. Hold on, man. Baby, here we go. Well, where we at with it? I know I referred to, I think the scrimmage, it was not as sharp as they've been. Well, it's because they've been very, very sharp all spring long. A little bit of a drop off wasn't a bad thing for them to go through because what's their response gonna be? Big facts, no cap. And that's been positive here this week. Seeing them come back and get back to that level and then some of what they've been doing all through spring. Mack, a redshirt junior, is the most experienced player in Alabama's 2026 quarterback room, but he only played in 4 games last season. He is well versed in the offense, though, as he followed the board from Washington to Tuscaloosa in 24. But Russell, a redshirt freshman, was the first high school quarterback to commit to the new regime. And despite being more green than his fellow signal caller, the former 5-star is firmly in the mix for the starting job. Mack and Russell are competing for the spot left vacant by Ty Simpson, who turned pro earlier this offseason. This year's Alabama quarterback battle is likely to linger into the preseason. Like I always say, bruh, this is just the beginning for sure. Here we go. But both players have been more vocal this spring as they step into larger leadership roles. These two guys have been in the program now, the board said. They're not new, they're not transferring in. They understand the culture we want. They can lead in their own way, which is going to be different for each of them because there are different personalities, but it's respected by the team. And that's a very important factor as well. Do your peers respect you? Do your players respect you? Heavy. Shit, even if some may not like you, right? Do they respect you, dog? Boom. Here we go. When these guys walk in the huddle, they're respected by the guys in that huddle. They're respected by the guys on defense because there's production. And they also know the character, and the team knows the character of these two that are competing for the job. Respect. Here we go. Alabama will practice again on Thursday, April 9th, before holding its 2026 A-Day on Saturday, April 11th. The 2-hour scrimmage is set to take place at 1 p.m. Central and is free to the public. So that practice was today, of course. You understand? Here we go, man. Here we go. Now I want to get into this Kalen DeBoer video and all that right quick. Just see what he had to say and all that. Give me 1 second. Just see what he had to say about Keelan Russell and Austin Mack and the whole QB battle and all that, bro. Here we go.
Care products, period, on the market are amazing.
Your face
Me now is the man going into his third season as head coach of Bama. Kalen DeBoer joins us here on SportsCenter. Coach, you know, last season at this time, you had a three-man race for that quarterback starting job. Ty Simpson won it. Keelan Russell, Austin Mack, they're still there. What do they need to show you to win the starting job this season?
Well, we know they're both capable of, big plays and I mean, the ceiling is extremely high for these guys, but I think it's about consistency. It's about leadership. They've shown that through the spring, really impressed and proud of what they've accomplished so far. We still got, some practices to go, and there'll be a lot of work that needs to be done this summer, but they have all the intangibles. They've done a great job of leading in the midst of still, really trying to focus on their job and trying to win a quarterback battle.
Obviously, they're replacing Ty Simpson, who all of a sudden has become one of the most debated prospects in the NFL draft. Some say first-round pick, others say second round because of his height, experience, just that one season as a starter. You know him well. Is he a first-round talent, and what are NFL teams getting in Ty Simpson?
Yeah, I definitely believe he is. Just been around it long enough, and he's made so many great plays, big plays. He can deliver the ball wherever he needs to, down the field, has great football IQ.
Hold up. Oh, Dad, here we go, bro. But yes, like I was saying, as far as Ty Simpson goes, it's no question in his athletic ability and his talent, etc. He's made big plays. He has big playmaking capabilities for sure. Can he be an NFL quarterback? Hell yeah. My biggest question has always been for him, how does he handle being under pressure? Last year, if you watch Bama football, you seen Ty Simpson fold in certain big moments, in certain games under pressure and all that, period. But it's no question as far as his arm talent goes, him being capable of being a quarterback, he definitely can. The question is, what organization does he go to? And do they give him time to develop and understand and evolve, period. But hell yeah, Ty Simpson can make it in the NFL as an NFL quarterback. He just needs to go to the right situation, no doubt. Roll Tide.
He's a coach's kid. He's been around the game forever. Once he won the job, rally around him. He's got their back. They had his, and so so many things that are on the field and off the field that just equate to a guy that you'd want in your program leading your team.
Ty Simpson had Caden Proctor really to protect his blind side, but some NFL execs and scouts say their main concern is his weight and why his, quote, performance didn't always match his immense physical talent, end quote. What's your message to those who are questioning Caden's potential?
Well, he continued to get better, and I think there's, certainly a case where his best football is certainly ahead of him. He is determined. He showed that, when the weight thing was something that people pointed to, he went and showed all season long in the midst of a season, how important it was to him by, making those adjustments, making those changes, and it impacted his play too, and it will help his longevity. But he's a big, massive human being, and so, he's in it for the long stretch. He's got.
Yeah, Caden Proctor is definitely a different animal. Definitely could be a once in a generation player, once every 10-year player and all that for sure, bro. Crazy upside, period.
An awesome personality. He's got a nastiness to him about him that you want on your offensive line. And so, but he's a team player too, and a great teammate just all together.
Coach, you're now entering year 3 there at Alabama. It's unlike any other program in the country. How do you navigate the scrutiny that comes with replacing a legend like Nick Saban, who is still very present there? And it seems like everything you do is compared to that Saban dynasty.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this program, is about. This is what you signed up for. And Coach Saban deserves everything that is said, and the people that appreciate him and how he's recognized. Just an amazing time here.
I mean, shit, Kalen DeBoer knew what he was signing up for. K-Dog knew what it was and what it ain't, heavy. He understood what it meant to walk behind Saban, come behind Saban's footsteps and all that, period. Now it's his era. He's going to do it his way. It's K-Dog's time right now. So let's get it, bro. Let's get it.
Here, and obviously even before he was here, he had a great career too. So you just focus on what you can control and love the journey, love the environment that I'm blessed to be a part of. These guys here in this program, they signed up for the same thing. And so, once in a while, I got to remind them of that. And while you're doing that, you remind yourself how fortunate, how blessed you are to be here.
How difficult of a time was it for you last year, especially during the playoffs when it seemed like Michigan was really trying to lure you away at that time?
Yeah, I mean, it's noise.
Start the cap, man. It was all noise, man. What Saban said, rat poison, man. Rat poison, man. You hear me? Heavy. You know what I mean? K-Dog ain't going nowhere, dog. Roll Tide.
That's out there, and especially at that time of the year when you're really just trying to navigate through the playoffs and put yourself in the best spot to win each and every week. That's really what we stayed focused on. And so, it's an honor to be mentioned in those conversations. It just tells you that you're doing something right in the program. But a lot of respect to all those programs around the country. There's a lot of great ones, but I have a great job and the best job in my mind here at Alabama. And so again, blessed to be here. It's more about Alabama than it is, being anywhere else.
Athletic director Greg Byrne said that he would like to put an end to the SEC championship game. His quote was, "That ship has sailed. It has run its course," end quote. What do you think? You agree?
I think
Hell yeah, put it into it. I mean, hell, does it help you at the end of the day? You just risk further injuries at the end of the day anyway. And I mean, hell, the SEC beat up on each other all year long. So I could care less if they got rid of the 8-day game, so to say. I mean, not the 8-day game, but the SEC championship. I wouldn't give a damn for real. The hell, bro? That keep players more healthy anyway. I mean, is the SEC championship the same it was or the same it used to be anyway? You understand? What are they really doing it for as well? So as far as it being beneficial and all that, they can really do away with it in my eyes. Yeah, for real. I mean, what benefit is it to the players, to the team, etc.? They tried to hold it against Bama last year, right, for making the SEC championship game and losing. They tried to hold it against Bama. So what the hell are we really talking about here? You know what I mean? Fuck going on around here. Here we go.
There's more too. I think he did a good job of continuing to talk more about why he said those things. I think there's pieces with the playoffs, and if you expand the playoffs, what's that mean for conference championship? And there's a lot of things that got to be worked out if you go down that road, especially when it comes to the financials. And so, the playoffs and winning a championship, a national championship, I think supersedes and overrides winning a conference championship. It meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to us to be in that game in the SEC championship. Especially, really just early in my time here at Alabama and being a part of the SEC. Obviously we came up short, but just things that are out of my control, kind of beyond coaching what I and doing what I do. Those are decisions that are made for people far beyond my position.
Hey, Coach, I read that you were a pretty good baseball player in your day. Baseball season has already begun. The Dodgers have the best record already in the National League. I see that you and their manager, Dave Roberts, have become really cool. How did that relationship come about?
He's just an amazing person. He's an amazing leader of that whole organization. I've watched a lot of Dodgers baseball already this year. So, if I get a chance to flip on the TV, I'm going to do it late at night. It works well with them being West Coast. And so I think there's a lot you can take from the best leaders that are out there. Had a chance to get, he was over here for one of our football games. And, I just, any opportunity I can to try to pick his brain about how he handles the expectations. And there's a lot of things, even though it's different sport or different level, there's a lot of similarities in the jobs and things that we do.
Kalen DeBoer, head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Coach, best of luck here with the spring. Obviously, this upcoming season as well. Roll Tide.
Yeah, roll Tide. Thank you.
You want this, you got that.
Shout out Kalen DeBoer, man. Shout out K-Dog Holmes for sure. Yeah, K-Dog been putting that work in himself this off season and all that, right? Heavy. The boy done lost some weight, trimmed up, toned up a little bit and whatnot. Roll Tide, baby. Roll damn Tide. There we go. So a few more articles to get into. Here we go. Matter of fact, one more, then I'm gonna get up out of here, man. No cap. Here we go. Roll Tide. Yes, we know it's going down April 11th. We know it's going down April 11th. You understand? Here we go. Alabama players were eager to watch on A-Day offense. A-Day is this Saturday at Bryant-Denny Stadium. While this could be a double or even triple what we made it, here are 5 Alabama players we're looking forward to watch scrimmage. First up is the offense. Here we go. Once again, let me know if you will be attending the A-Day game for sure. First up, QB Keelan Russell. The quarterbacks will have everyone's attention on Saturday afternoon. Mack and Russell are battling for the starting spot behind center. And after a dozen spring practices, it's still an open competition. Both players made mistakes in last weekend's scrimmage, but responded well on Tuesday, Kalen DeBoer said. Sources at the second scrimmage were impressed by Russell's playmaking ability, stating that the former 5-star recruit was making NFL-level throws. Should he do more of that and eliminate the miscues, he will be a real threat in his QB competition. They'll say 2 more days, fuckers. No cap, bro. No cap. Here we go. Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Here we go. Let's get it. Running back Kevin Riley. Now, Kevin Riley has been putting on a good show this whole spring camp. The running back room is very stacked. Who will separate themselves from the pack is the main question. Here we go. Riley was one of the top standouts in Alabama's second scrimmage last week. He impressed those who watched the closed practice the most of this Crimson Tide running backs, and it was not particularly close. Wow. Here we go. Not only did Riley show off his burst, but he also ran through contact. It's no secret that Alabama wants to be better at running the ball in 26. And if it can continue to get consistent play from Riley, the running back group could be more explosive like it wants to be this season. If E.J. Crowell were healthy, he would be strongly considered at this spot. That's the big thing, bro. You're missing reps. Hey, other guys step up. That's the way of the game, way the cookie crumbles and all that, for sure. That's just part of it, bro. But Kevin Riley, got a shout out to him for taking advantage of his opportunity as well. Here we go. Wide receiver Noah Rogers. Rogers was another of the top performers in last week's scrimmage as the NC State transfer scored a couple of touchdowns in his first time playing in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Will he have a repeat performance with several thousand more fans in the stands? Ryan Coleman Williams and Lloyd Sear Brooks are going to play a lot, but Alabama needs someone to step up and replace the production left behind by Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton. Rogers seems to be well on his way to being a starting receiver for the Tide, becoming the next impact transfer. And Alabama has been getting a lot of impact from its transfer players. Noah Rogers, Rayson Delgado, etc. So them boys coming in handling that business, handling that Ben Nai right away. Shout out to them for real. Here we go. Tight end, Marshall Pritchard. Alabama's tight ends have some big shoes to fill with Josh Cuevas out of eligibility, but the Tide has several options to do just that. Pritchard and Caleb Edwards are both entering their second season in Tuscaloosa, with the latter having 6 starts under his belt. But Pritchard is coming off one of his better showings in last week's scrimmage. Edwards is going to play and looks to be Alabama's top tight end, but Pritchard could take the next step in year 2 after his rookie year was hampered by injuries. Let's see what the sophomore can do with the healthy offseason. And Marshall Pritchard, he's more of a receiving tight end anyway. So very, very excited to see what he does in this 8-day game, 8-day scrimmage as well. Offensive lineman Javin James, another transfer portal guy. Here we go. We had a lot of questions about Alabama's offensive line entering the spring. And while the unit has a lot to prove in 26, most of the first team roles have been consistently filled by the same players. With Michael Carroll getting reps at right guard, James has stepped into the right tackle spot with the ones. Very interesting, Holmes. Very interesting, heavy. Will we be looking at a rotation? Will Michael Carroll potentially be playing guard? Will Javin James be at that tackle position? Wow, very interesting indeed. Roll Tide, Ain't nothing rolling but the damn Tide. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Although he spent most of his time at left tackle at Mississippi State, James is still an experienced SEC tackle who could help the Tide offensive line this fall, for sure. Here we go. We'll get our first extended look at him on Saturday and see if he's still working with the first group. That's what it is, baby. Let's get it. You know what I mean? Early. And just the whole 2026 SEC Football Media Days schedule before I get up out of here and all that. Let me see what we got here. When does Alabama and Kalen DeBoer speak? So Kalen DeBoer will be speaking Wednesday, July 22nd. I believe speaking on that same day will be, of course, Kalen DeBoer, K-Dog, Florida's coach, John Sumrall, Ole Miss, Pete Golding, real cricket Pete Golding, huh? Yeah. Now, how the hell Pete Golding ain't got dealt with, huh? Yeah. Why didn't Ole Miss and Pete Golding get held accountable for that bullshit ass tampering, man? Huh? Oh, I must know. Here we go. Shout out Dabo Swinney for real. And also speaking Texas A&M coach Mike Elko. So keep that date in mind. A brief, quick reminder. Kalen DeBoer will be speaking on Wednesday, July 22nd for SEC Media Day. Let's go, K-Dog. Lock in. The best coach in the SEC, baby, all day, all night. Show your ride. And with that being said, I'm going to get up out of here, man. Hey, shout out all my big dogs, my Levy dogs, my subscribers, and my supporters. You understand, once again, Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell. Support the grind, support the channel. Why not? It takes less than 1 second. You dig me? You know what it is, man. Share this with any and everybody you know for sure. Big SKOL here. Roll Tide full of pride. Win, lose, or draw. But guess what? We come to win. Down at the levee, we gone fishing at the levee. Roll Tide full of pride. Believe that. Here we come.